Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Thursday, July 9th, 2015, around 5:28 in the morning in Billerica, Massachusetts. Gonna be a nice and sunny day. Highs around 70 or so, maybe a mix in sun and clouds, much cooler. The humidity's down. That's a good thing. Some news to report. Boston Red Sox beat the Miami Marlins by the score of 6-4. Big Poppy hit another home run. He's only 19 more homers away to 500. The Lowell Spinners beat West Virginia Bears by the score of 4-1. Tom Jackson, who's on ESPN Countdown and ESPN NFL Primetime, won the Pete Rozelle Award for Broadcasting Excellence. And the Rose Bowl will not be a home of a temporary home for an NFL team coming to Los Angeles. So that's about it on the news. My first video subject of the day is the Great American Bash 1995 pay-per-view for WCW, which took place at Dayton, Ohio, at the Hara Arena. This was the first Great American Bash pay-per-view in 3 years. Since 1992, WCW said that the fans demanded the Great American Bash to come back, and they delivered. The main event was Ric Flair facing off against Macho Man Randy Savage in a grudge match and stuff, and they had other matches on the card. There were 3 matches that were on WCW main event that was before like the pay-per-view, which was on TBS, and here they are. Harlem Heat, Booker T and Stevie Ray with Sister Sherry faced off against the Fantastics, Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers. Originally it was going to be the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, but they no-showed, so the Fantastics took their place. This match was 6 minutes. Booker T pinned Tommy Rogers. The next match on the main event was Sergeant Craig Pittman facing off against Scott DeMorte, and the ring announcer accidentally introduced him as Chris Canyon. Who's better than Canyon? Nobody. But like, this was a squash match. Pittman beat DeMorte with the Cold Red, which was an armbar submission. And the third match that was on the main event before the actual Great American Bash pay-per-view was Dick Slater and Bunkhouse Buck with Colonel Robert Parker. They beat Frankie Lancaster and Barry Houston when Bunkhouse Buck pinned Houston. And then after the match, Harlem Heat with Sister Sherry challenged Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater to a match on the pay-per-view and stuff. They were 2 heel teams and stuff like that. But Sister Sherry and Colonel Rob Parker this was the start of their a long-running feud and a romance and stuff like that. And this is what happened on the pay-per-view, the Great American Bash pay-per-view. All of these matches, and calling the action were Tony Schiavone and Bobby the Brain Heenan. The first match was just fun. The kid Alex Wright, who was a rookie, was known for this dancing, this dance, facing off against Flying Brian Pillman, who was nicknamed from California and stuff, and both were faces, and this was a big 15-minute match, back and forth and stuff, lots of high-flying moves and stuff. The ending had Alex Wright pin Flying Brian Pillman with a sunset flip 1, 2, 3, 15 minutes. Both of them after the match shook hands because both were faces. The next match was an arm wrestling contest between Dave Sullivan with his rabbit Ralph against DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, with the Diamond Dog Kimberly and Max Muscle. And the stipulation for this arm wrestling contest, if Dave Sullivan won, he would take the Diamond Dog Kimberly out on a date, but if DDP won, he would take possession of Ralph the Rabbit. And this was an awful arm wrestling contest. Dave Sullivan won because the Diamond Dog Kimberly accidentally pushed Diamond Dallas Page and then caused him to lose, and Diamond Dallas they blamed his bodyguard Maximus and stuff. This was very, very awful and stuff. And the next match was Hacksaw Jim Duggan facing off against Sergeant Craig Pitbull Pittman. Originally, it was going to be Marcus Alexander Bagwell against Craig Pitbull Pittman, but Marcus Alexander Bagwell was hurt. And this was an awful match and stuff. Jim Duggan wins by disqualification when Craig Pitbull Pittman refused to let go of the cold red breaker submission hold because Hacksaw made it through the ropes and stuff, and the referee called it for an automatic disqualification, but because Craig Pitbull Pittman would not break it up after the 5 count, and if you don't break it up after a 5 count in wrestling for submission, it's an automatic disqualification. And afterwards, Hacksaw escapes the hold and beats up Craig Pitbull Pittman. The next match was a grudge tag team match. It was Harlem Heat, Booker T, and Stevie Ray with Sister Sherry facing off against Bunkhouse Buck and Dirty Dick Slater with Colonel Rob Parker. Both teams were heels, but the Harlem Heat was kind of the de facto faces and stuff. And this was a decent match and stuff. Ending had Bunkhouse Buck have Stevie Ray in the small package and stuff like that, because Colonel Rob Parker turned him over after it was originally Stevie Ray had Bunkhouse Buck in a pinning combination, but the referee was getting after Sherry, but then the referee gets Parker out of the way, then Sherry flips back Stevie Ray over in 1, 2, 3, and this continues their feud. It went throughout the summer and stuff like that. It was an okay match and stuff. The next match was for the WCW World Television title. It was the Enforcer, Arn Anderson, defending his TV title against the Renegade with the mouth of the South, Jeremy Hart. The Renegade was a ripoff of the Ultimate Warrior and stuff like that. He actually was a local indie wrestler in the early 1990s called Rick Wilson, who wrestled in Massachusetts and stuff, and he's originally from Billerica, Massachusetts. And this wasn't, an awful match in my opinion. The Renegade beat Arn Anderson about 9 minutes with a splash off the top rope to win the television title and stuff like that. And afterwards, they had a big man stalking the ringside area. He almost grabbed Jimmy Hart and the Renegade. That big man eventually turned out to be the Giant. The next match was for the WCW World Tag Team Championships. It was the Blue Bloods, Lord Steven Regal and the Earl of Eaton, who was Bobby Eaton, facing off against Knobs and Sags, the Nasty Boys, the current WCW Tag Team titles, championships. This was an okay match and stuff. Back and forth and stuff. Ending had the Harlem Heat interfere. Booker T give the Harlem Heat over to Nasty Boys, Knobs and Sags, but he accidentally crotched Bobby Eaton, and that took advantage for Knobs. He did the elbow for the 1, 2, 3 to retain the WCW World Tag Team Championships. The next match was the finals to determine the new United States Championship. It was the Man Cold Sting, the franchise of WCW, facing off against Ming with Colonel Robert Parker. And this match was a decent match, about 13-14 minutes. Sting wins the match in the vacant U.S. title with a DDT. That's not one of Sting's favorite maneuvers. I could never recall him winning a match with the DDT and stuff. He usually goes for the Stinger Splash and then puts him in a Scorpion Deathlock again. And this was a decent match, but was not one of Sting's best matches in my opinion. And the main event was a grudge match. It was Nature Boy Ric Flair facing off against the Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah, I dig it. The Macho Man Randy Savage had his father Angelo Poffo in his corner, and this feud started at Slamboree in 1995 after Angelo Poffo got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and after they had Ric Flair and Vader had a match against Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage as the main event at Slamboree 1995. Flair and Arn Anderson and Vader attacked Angelo Poffo and stuff, and so this was getting a revenge. This was about 14-15 minutes. It was okay and stuff. Ending had Ric Flair attack Angelo Poffo and took his cane and beat it up with Savage, and Flair pinned Savage 1, 2, 3. That was it, and this feud continued for several more months and stuff like that. And the Great American Bash returned to pay-per-view with, as a regular rotation for WCW pay-per-views in June until it folded in 2001. This Great American Bash pay-per-view 1995 was, okay and stuff. It was an average WCW pay-per-view. I give it a C average because Ric Flair and Randy Savage always would give great matches no matter what. They were one of the best feuds of all time. And the rest of the card was, average and stuff. Instead of Sting winning the United States Championship for the second time, I wasn't, okay, but he was a main event player, and giving him the U.S. title again for the second time was putting him down secondary. Nasty Boys, Blue Bloods, match was an okay tag team match, but nothing to write home about. And the rest of the card could be something that you could probably see on a Clash of Champions and stuff like that. But they needed to fill matches out for the pay-per-view. They did not have Hulk Hogan or Vader on this card, which that might have hurt and stuff. But maybe Hulk Hogan had in his WCW contract that he could work selected Dayton. This probably wasn't one of them, and it was. I give it a C, and that's about it on this. Be back later on today with 2 more video blogs. First one will be about the Bellwether Memorial High School attendance policy. Tell you about that, and the third and final video blog of the night will be about actress Elaine Joyce, who was a panelist on the Match Game for many years. Also, she was a guest star on game shows as well. Have a good day, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.